IB Euro students, let's take a look at the week ahead here. Uh, some of you still have some catching up to do, and the good news is this week is really defined by only a couple of things. One, reading the book All Quiet on the Western Front, and two, watching Ed Puzzles from the Great War series. There are a couple of short readings from Josh Bruman that go year by year, and this week I'll be talking about the war year by year. But for our purposes here, let's just take a peek at our week. So today we should be getting into the next Ed puzzle, 3.1, and moving into 1915, the events of 1915. 1915 is mostly defined by the battle at Gallipoli, where the British attempt to attack what is called the soft underbelly of Europe through the Turkish Straits. And it was a dramatic failure, one that led to some high profile firings, including future Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who was very influential in the failed Gallipoli campaign. Churchill's an amazing character. He ends up coming back and enlists and ends up as a captain at the Battle of the Somme in 1916, commanding about 300 men. He's really an impressive person. But anyway, that's today. After that, you should be reading the fourth chapter of All Quiet on the Western Front, and then the first quiz is available. I see a few people have taken that. There are a couple of attempts on it. Make sure you do well on your first because your grade isn't average. We stay in 1915 for Thursday. You'll see a reading is available. It's also in the folder from Josh Bruman, an overview of 1915. Then there is an Ed puzzle, and you should also be reading the next chapter of All Quiet on the Western Front. Keep in mind again that All Quiet on the Western Front is written at about an 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade level, so it's not a challenging read. And we'll talk about why it was one of the books that was banned by Joseph Goebbels, who was the propaganda minister in Nazi Germany. Friday, we're moving ahead, reading the next chapter of All Quiet on the Western Front. And Friday, the quiz will also be available. Well, it's available now if you're reading ahead. But if you were keeping pace here, you would be taking that second quiz sometime on Friday on chapters 5 and 6. Monday, we move ahead to 1916. 1916 is defined by two major battles, both on the Western Front. One was known as the Battle of Verdun. It lasted almost the entire year of 1916, where the German strategy by General Erich von Falkenhayn was to try to wage a war of attrition and wear down the French at Verdun, a fortress city. It failed, but it would be severe for both sides. In the summer of 1916, the French were begging the British to lead an attack elsewhere on the Western Front, and that would take place in July, known as the Battle of the Somme. Now, in both of those battles, we would see over 1 million men killed or wounded, numbers and battles that the world had never seen before. So Monday begins 1916, the next Ed puzzle, and also chapter 7 of All Quiet on the Western Front. Tuesday, the next Ed puzzle, chapter 8 of All Quiet on the Western Front, and that is it. So if you are behind, this is a good week to get caught up. Some of those Ed puzzles are a little bit longer, around 20 minutes, but most of them are more like 12 to 15 minutes. In the book, it's an easy read, so you have some time. You should have some time to make sure that you're getting caught up. And if you need help, please ask. I would love to help you. Have a great day.